Hello YouTube, my name is Hero, and today we're going to be discussing another very important topic when it comes to Black Desert Online, and that topic is PvP. First off, I want to thank everyone who commented on my last video. I appreciate the feedback, and I'll use that to make my next videos better and better and better, hopefully. Well, let's get on with the topic. So in my opinion, Black Desert PvP is very interesting. It's not like the PvP of many games that have come out recently, or any games that I have played recently, like Terror or Blade and Soul, where PvP is somewhat equalized. They somewhat try to make it equalized, regardless of the gear you have. There's some arena, there's some way that you can beat your opponent on skill alone. In those games, skill plays a larger role than gear when it comes to PvP, because the game facilitates an equal PvP environment, which is why Blade and Soul is able to become an esport, is because it's just pure skill. Once you reach the same character level, it begins to become pretty even. But in Black Desert, it's not like that. I'm sorry to say, Black Desert will probably never be an esport. It just doesn't have the capabilities at this point in time. That is not to say that Black Desert PvP is bad, by no stretch of the imagination. The game's PvP is enthralling to me as a player. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of things that have to do with skill. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of skill involved in this game, especially when it comes to PvP. But the thing is that skill it's irrelevant if your gear is not up to par. You have to play the game. You have to put in time. You have to put in work in order to stay on top competitively. People who put in more time and more work will always have an advantage over you, and that advantage will grow greater and greater and greater over time, to the point where you won't be able to do damage to them. You won't be able to even threaten their lives, and that in itself can be deemed as a problem to anyone who comes to this game from an MMO like Blade and Soul, for example, who is seeking out a PvP experience that is enriching without having to resort to spending 10-12 hours a day on the game. That's just an exaggeration, of course, but you see my point. So after you come to terms with this and you accept it, you start to think, well, I don't care. I still want to play PvP. I still want to be on top, and I'm going to do what it takes to be on top. I'm not gonna let these noobs beat me because they play more. No, I'm gonna be on top. I'm gonna be the best. And if you think that way, then I have some tips for you. And one of my largest tips that I can give to anyone is to plan ahead. Is to think about what you're gonna do. That's tip number one. Think about what you're gonna do when it comes to everything in this game. When it comes to selecting your character, to selecting your build, to selecting your armor set, to selecting your weapon, to selecting your everything you have to research. You have to find outlets that are informational, and I can provide you guys with some. I have a couple links that are very useful for new players, but at the end of the day, you have to research. You have to understand the game, and unfortunately, the largest amount of research you will ever get is not going to be on the internet. It's going to be actually playing the game yourself. It's going to be actually going through and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and what works for you and what doesn't work for other people. And that's why when it comes to this game, guides on the internet aren't absolute. There are many guides that have suggestions for you, but these suggestions just simply may not work for you. They simply may not be the best thing for you personally, and there's no setup where someone can say this is better for you than this. This is something you have to decide for yourself. I mean, to an extent. There are some really bad armor sets though. So my goal with this video, as always, is just to simply provide you guys with information and allow you to take that information and do with it as you will. Black Desert is a game that is simply not for everyone, and if you are a person who's coming from, say, example, Blade and Soul again, I hate to keep using it, but it's a great example for this. or any other game besides Blade and Soul that has to do with PvP that is just flat out fair. Like you can log on once a week and still be competitive. If you come from that kind of game and you're expecting that kind of experience in Black Desert, I wish you good luck. That's all I can say. I wish you good luck, and I hope you do find that experience. I hope you do still have fun with this game, even if you can't play it very often. But if you just put in enough time, if you just put in the minimum amount of time, which in my opinion is logging in once a day. Logging in once a day will keep you in the loop. You won't be at the top of the loop, but you'll be in the loop. If you can log in once a day, you can compete. I'm pretty confident in saying that you can compete. You won't be on top. That's one thing you have to accept. But as long as you log in, you do your dailies, which is the most important thing for progressing. Honestly, after you hit level 50, doing your dailies and weeklies will really keep you in the loop. If you can just get on every day and do those, and then everything else after that is just extra credit. And the people who do extra credit in class, they're just going to be ahead. That's just the way it is, man. Now, if you accept these terms and conditions and would like to know more about how to become as efficient as possible when the game launches in terms of PvP, I can give you guys a couple of tips. Just let me know in the comments if you want to know anything about that, or if you want to know anything about anything else. I'll try my best to answer any questions as best as I can. And please keep in mind that nothing said in this video is factual. Everything is my opinion. But my opinion is based off of extensive research and playing the game for a very reasonable amount of time myself, especially in terms of PvP, and going through the motions and getting my ass beat by Koreans over and over again until I finally learned that, hey, I have to play like this, and if I can't play like this, then I have to accept that I might lose every now and again. Anyway, this is Hero. Thanks for watching.